Imagine a father who loves his child yet never shows up. He never speaks. He never holds you when you're afraid. He leaves a single yellowed letter and writes, "Believe in me, I love you. But you will not see me. You will not hear my voice. You will only read this and trust." As the child grows, the questions begin to ache. Where is my father? Why doesn't he come? Is he even real? And the adults repeat the same answer like a lullaby. He loves you. He's just hidden. This is a test. But the child can't let it go. If he truly loves me, why is he hiding? That is the oldest and sharpest question in human history. If God exists, why is he so silent? Why so hidden? Why does he feel absent, almost indistinguishable from nothing? Religions insist God is everywhere, all-seeing, all-knowing, hearing every prayer, watching every thought. And yet, no clear appearance, no unambiguous reply, no evidence that ends the doubt. Just texts, traditions, and people telling you what to think. If God truly wants belief, why make belief so hard? Why are there thousands of religions, each claiming certainty? Why do sincere people reach opposite conclusions? Why does the truth so often match the border you were born inside? A child is born in Saudi Arabia and grows up Muslim. Another is born in India and grows up Hindu, taught reincarnation and karma. Another is born in Norway and grows up with little religion at all. None of them chose their starting point. Yet each is told, you were given the truth. So which child found the true God? If the answer depends on geography, then faith isn't guided by revelation. It's assigned by circumstance. And if God is just, what kind of justice ties eternity to accident? Zoom out in time. Imagine you were born in ancient Greece. Everyone around you worships Zeus and Athena with complete confidence. You pray, you sacrifice, you die certain. According to later religions, you were wrong, yet you had no way to know. Now imagine someone 1,000 years from today looking back at us. Will they say the same? That we were certain about stories that never had a speaker behind them? We're told the solution is faith. Not seeing is the point. If God were obvious, there would be no test. But even within religious stories, that logic breaks. Angels saw God and still rebelled. The devil, in many traditions, stood in God's presence and still refused. Seeing does not guarantee love, so why would clarity destroy the test? And if the test is real, why is it so unevenly distributed? Billions never read the right book, never met the right messenger, never heard the right name. A child born in 200 BCE in China never heard of Jesus. A child born in 500 CE in the Amazon never heard of Muhammad. Are they condemned for the crime of being born too early, too far, too human? Here's another cruelty. A good atheist who feeds the hungry, comforts the grieving, and lives with kindness goes to hell for not believing. Meanwhile, a murderer who repents at the last moment enters paradise. What kind of moral system values belief over action? What kind of father cares more about whether his child says "I love you" than whether they actually love others? Think about it differently. Imagine a doctor who knows the formula that could save your child's life, yet refuses to share it. Your child dies. We wouldn't call that doctor loving. Now imagine a God who threatens eternal punishment, but communicates through ancient writings that are disputed, translated, interpreted, and fought over. And about those ancient texts, which version speaks for God? The Bible has been translated, edited, and rewritten thousands of times. Verses appear, disappear, contradict. The Quran claims it's unchanged, yet historians trace variations in early manuscripts. Every faith says, our book is perfect, while pointing at others and saying, theirs was corrupted. But if God wanted a clear message, why leave us with thousands of disputed pages? Is that mercy or distance dressed up as mystery? A mother loses her child. She collapses and prays, not as a philosopher, but as a human being. Why? Where were you? Why didn't you stop this? And the universe answers with silence. People try to patch the silence with phrases. God has a plan. He hears you. He just doesn't respond. But if he hears and chooses not to answer, is that better? If he does not hear, then he isn't everywhere. Across centuries, people tried to force a response from the heavens. Some climbed mountains, some walked into deserts, some starved themselves, whipped themselves, lived in caves, abandoned families, hoping suffering would buy closeness. What did most of them receive? The same quiet, and then the same instruction, feel him. And notice what hiddenness produces, not one faith, but a marketplace of certainty. Each tradition says God spoke here. Each points to its own miracles, saints, and books, yet the signs never settle anything. They multiply arguments. If God wanted unity, why design a world where sincere hearts divide endlessly, then punish them for choosing wrong? And notice what history reveals. Miracles seem to cluster in the past, before cameras, before records, before verification. Seas parted, the dead rose, the sky split, always in times when the only witnesses were believers. Now when every phone is a camera, when every claim can be checked, the miracles have quietly stopped. If God worked wonders to prove himself then, why not now, when proof is what we need most? Even prayer becomes part of the puzzle. Two parents kneel in different cities begging, "Please save my child." One child survives, the other doesn't. One calls it mercy, the other calls it a test. But if the outcome is indistinguishable from chance, what exactly is being answered? History adds weight to the question. During plagues, people filled temples with pleading, and still watched children die by the thousands. In disasters, the faithful and faithless were buried under the same rubble. A silent heaven looks the same from every angle. So when believers say God is hidden so you can choose freely, ask what free means here. And if God truly values free will, then hell makes no sense. A father who says, "Love me freely, or I'll torture you forever," isn't offering freedom. That's coercion dressed as choice. Real freedom means genuine alternatives without infinite consequences. Real love doesn't threaten punishment for doubt. It meets doubt with evidence, with presence, with clarity, not with silence and a warning. Is it freedom if the information is withheld? Is it fair when the stakes are infinite and the evidence is ambiguous? If a father hides from his child for years, then blames the child for not believing hard enough, we would not call that love. And that is the core of the question. Not only does God exist, but if he does, why does he treat us like this? Why make salvation depend on birthplace, language, history, and luck? Maybe the reason this question hurts is because it points toward adulthood, toward the possibility that there is no cosmic parent coming to explain the chaos. If we want fewer graves for children, we need clean water, vaccines, peace, and courage. If God is real, he can end this silence at any moment. A single, unmistakable presence, clear to everyone, would change everything. Until then, the silence remains. And after enough years, silence stops feeling like a test. It starts feeling like emptiness.